The diner was quiet, the kind of calm that settled in just after sunrise. Regulars sipped coffee, the jukebox hummed faintly, and the smell of eggs and bacon lingered in the air. Frank Carter, 78 years old, sat in his usual booth by the window, a plate of breakfast in front of him, and his military jacket folded neatly on the seat beside him. For the last 10 years, this had been his routine, Tuesday mornings at this very table. He liked the stillness, the golden sunlight that washed over the hills outside, and the unspoken peace in the clink of cutlery and soft chatter. But this morning that peace was broken. A loud voice sliced through the quiet. "You think that little medal makes you special, old man?" A broad-shouldered biker, all tattoos and bravado, loomed over Frank's table. His tone was mocking, but his eyes carried something darker. Disrespect. Frank looked up slowly, his weathered face unreadable. He didn't answer. He didn't flinch. The biker leaned in closer, pressing his knuckles into the table. "This table's taken, Gramps." Frank sighed, set his fork down gently, and brushed a hand across the faded patch on his jacket. He wasn't a stranger to men like this. He'd seen far worse. He'd lived through things most people couldn't imagine: 3 tours in Vietnam, the loss of too many friends, and a lifetime trying to carry their memories. Still, he was tired. Too tired to argue. Too old to play games. But then the biker crossed a line. With a flick of his hand, he knocked Frank's cap from his head. The room froze. The waitress stopped mid-step. Even the jukebox seemed to pause. Frank looked at him, voice low but steady. "Son, you don't want to do this." The biker scoffed. "What are you going to do? Call the cops?" At the counter, a few of the biker's buddies chuckled. One cracked his knuckles. Another casually flipped open a switchblade, clearly more for intimidation than intent. Frank didn't move. His heart beat faster, but his hands were steady. He had seen this before, bullies mistaking silence for weakness. Then came the final insult. "Bet you picked up that jacket from a thrift store." "Fake hero." Frank's jaw tensed. His eyes for a moment were elsewhere, not in the diner, but in the jungle, the desert, the chaos of past wars. He didn't feel fear. He felt memory. And at that moment, the diner door swung open. The diner door chimed. Boots struck the linoleum floor, measured, deliberate. A firm voice, sharp as a crack of thunder, broke the silence. "Is there a problem here, Sergeant?" Every head turned. Standing in the doorway, dressed in full uniform, was a Marine. His gaze wasn't on the biker, it was locked on Frank. The biker scoffed. "Oh great, another one of you old-timers." But the uniformed man didn't blink. He took one step forward. Just one. Behind him, the door opened again. 2 more Marines stepped in. Then a fourth. The room seemed to shift. The biker's smirk faltered. Frank hadn't called anyone. He didn't need to. These weren't strangers. They were brothers, men who knew what Frank had done, what he'd given, and what he still stood for. Their presence wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The lead Marine folded his arms across his chest, eyes steady. "You disrespecting my friend?" The biker looked to his crew. Their confidence cracked. The one with the knife snapped it shut. Another avoided eye contact altogether. Frank stood up slowly, still calm, still composed. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. "Leave," he said simply. That was all. The biker hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty clouded his face. No one moved to back him up. The weight of something greater had entered the room. Respect, legacy, honor. And just like that, they left. No fists thrown. No yelling. Just the quiet understanding that some lines don't get crossed. Not in that diner. Not with that man. The Marines took their seats at Frank's booth. Coffee was poured. The waitress, now smiling, brought a fresh pot. Conversation flowed. Not about the incident, but about life, about memories, about the ones who didn't make it back. Outside, the hills remained green. The sun still painted the sky in gold, and the world turned on, unaware of the quiet moment of respect that had just unfolded inside. Frank wasn't alone. He never had been. Some bonds don't fade with time, and real strength, it doesn't shout. It stands steady, just like Frank had.